Jade Cargill's contract with All Elite Wrestling could reportedly expire as soon as this week, as the rumours of her finishing up with AEW and signing with WWE continued. Last night's episode of AEW Dynamite reportedly was the lowest attended Dynamites in company history and the second lowest attended show in All Elite Wrestling history as well. The Dyad are reportedly gone from NXT after their contracts have seemingly expired. TKO has reportedly some big plans and changes for WWE Premium Live events in the future. The Undisputed Tag Team Championships reportedly could be split very soon. TKO reportedly could have an all-star weekend plan that involves both WWE and the UFC. Seth Rollins tops the PWI 500 list. An update on Matt Riddle's status after he missed Raw this past Monday. Full Gear undergoes yet another logo change, and the TKO board of directors are finalized. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, there are plenty of news stories to get into in the world of professional wrestling. And let's start off talking about Jade Cargill. The big breaking story today was the belief and the reports that she is finishing up or has finished up with AEW and could be bound for WWE, with last night's Dynamite taping being her final AEW appearance. Now, Jade Cargill, reportedly, if she does go to WWE, might not be heading straight to the WWE main roster. Now, Cargill, of course, only returned to All Elite Wrestling on the September 9 edition of Collision as she rekindled her program with Chris Statlander over the TBS Championship. Now, this will lead to a match on Friday night's episode of AEW Rampage, which of course was taped last night in Cincinnati, Ohio, following AEW Dynamite. Now, spoilers ahead, but given the stories that have gone round today, you know the outcome of it. Cargill ultimately lost to Statlander at the taping in their rematch for the TBS Championship, and this immediately fueled speculation about why AEW would have Cargill lose on a tape show like AEW Rampage. It has since emerged, though, however, that Cargill is likely finishing up with AEW, and the belief, according to Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Select, the belief within both AEW and WWE is that Cargill is WWE bound. Now, in a bit of an update on this story, PW Insider has noted that AEW sources believe that Cargill's deal with the promotion expires as early as this week. There were reportedly discussions about Cargill re-signing, but, quote, nothing new was ever agreed to, and she is not scheduled for any more AEW appearances. Now, Cargill's loss to Statlander came across as her farewell, according to those in attendance who noted that she was teary-eyed after the match had been completed. Now, Cargill, of course, has been a part of AEW since late 2020. She went 60-0 before losing to Chris Statlander in an impromptu match at Double or Nothing earlier this year. Cargill may not have been given such a spotlight immediately upon arriving in WWE, though, as some in AEW reportedly believe that Cargill, quote, is heading to WWE for the NXT brand. Now, as I mentioned, she was described by one fan at the Cincinnati show as teary-eyed, and actually following her match with Chris Statlander, the two women embraced following the bout. Cargill then left the ring, accompanied by her manager, Smart Mark Sterling. As I mentioned, some in AEW believe that Cargill is bound for WWE, but will be a part of the NXT roster, which would certainly set up a tantalizing bout with the brand new NXT Women's Champion in Becky Lynch somewhere down the line. Some people are even speculating that Cargill could potentially take the title off Becky Lynch in the future. Do you think that's possible? What are your thoughts on this? There have been some people saying that they think she's still going to stay with AEW. Sean Ross Sapp has said he's 75% sure she's going to WWE. The likes of Raj Giri are saying that he has heard that he thinks she's going to stay with AEW. Where do you think she's going to go? What are your thoughts on all of this? And what do you think about her possibly going to NXT first? Is that where she needs to go before going to the main roster? Let me know your thoughts about that, as always, in the comment section below. Now, Dynamite is struggling to sell tickets in the US. AEW, for a lot of their shows, are struggling to sell tickets right now domestically. AEW's issues with selling tickets in the US continue. Last night's episode of AEW Dynamite was an interesting one, but unfortunately for fans of AEW, low attendance has led to that being overshadowed. Pictures surfaced during and after the show of the poor attendance. WrestleTix on Twitter noted that AEW Dynamite brought in 2,667 paid fans this week, or also noting that this was the second lowest attendance in AEW history and the lowest attendance for a Dynamite. This attendance figure ended up surpassing only one other AEW TV event attendance for the year, which was Collision in Regina, Saskatchewan, which was 2,474. It secured the second to last position just ahead of Rampage in Kingston, which was 2,743. According to WrestleTix, no sugarcoating it, this was a bad turnout. Many residents in the area reached out to WrestleTix, noting that they only became aware of the event's presence the day before, when AEW advertisements aired during nearly every commercial break of the Cincinnati Reds game, that being a baseball game. Now, this comes on the same day as turnstile numbers were revealed for AEW All In, noting that 72,000 fans entered Wembley Stadium by the turnstiles count, calling into question AEW's record attendance number that they have been mentioning since the pay-per-view went down on August 27. What are your thoughts on the woes that AEW seemingly is having right now in terms of selling tickets domestically? How do they overcome this? Should they book smaller arenas? Do you think there are issues when it comes to the advertising and marketing of TV tapings? Let me know your thoughts about that and how AEW can improve it as well. Now, switching over to WWE and NXT, a brand that Jade Cargill could soon be competing on, and the Dyad are reportedly no longer part of it. Jagger Reed and Rip Fowler are, quote, gone from WWE, according to Dave Meltzer on the Wrestling Observer radio show. The veteran pro wrestling journalist noted that Fowler and Reed's contracts with WWE were up and presumed an angle would have played out on television. Meanwhile, a source within WWE had no information regarding the duo's reported departure. On WWE NXT this past Tuesday night, it was indicated by Joe Gacy and Ava Raine that the tag team formerly known as the Grizzled Young Veterans were no longer part of the Schism faction. Reed and Fowler had been part of the group for a number of months. Of course, back in April, the duo were denied their release from WWE. Reed, who had previously performed as James Drake, wrote on social media, quote, "As of today, WWE has denied my request for my release. I want to thank you all for your support throughout my career. I'll never take that for granted. My contract with WWE expires on the 14th of October 2023. I'm excited to share our next chapter once we are free agents." Fowler, who previously performed as Zach Gibson, posted a similar statement. Despite wanting out of their contracts early, Reed and Fowler remained an integral part of the NXT show, frankly. During the NXT Battleground pre-show media call in May, WWE Senior Vice President of Talent Development Creative Shawn Michaels mentioned that he wanted the duo to stay with the promotion. He also understood how the tag team felt and that there would be no hard feelings. The former NXT UK Tag Team Champions' most recent match in WWE took place on the August 29 episode of NXT, where they were defeated by Julius and Brutus Creed in a steel cage match, which may look like now possibly their final match in WWE for now. Now, TKO was formed this week, and reportedly they've got big plans when it comes to WWE's premium live event business. WWE could be planning a big change to its PLE business in 2024 following the launch of TKO Group Holdings. On Tuesday, September 12, TKO Group Holdings was founded, bringing WWE and UFC officially under the same umbrella. Dave Meltzer has revealed the plans for WWE that they may have for pushing their PLE business on Wrestling Observer Radio, saying, quote, "We'll be seeing a lot more of WWE trying to get cities to bid for at least the big shows. I mean, the goal is for all 12 pay-per-view shows, but right now I think the goal is 4 or 5 for the next year and maybe more as time goes on. UFC is doing it as well." Of course, it had been previously reported that Puerto Rico paid WWE $1.5 million to bring Backlash to the country earlier this year. Last year, it was reported that the Welsh government here in the UK paid almost $3 million for Clash at the Castle. So what WWE is essentially attempting to do is get these cities to bid to bring the shows to there, boost tourism, and then also they make money by running the show as well. Do you think that's a good mindset, and do you think that's a good place for WWE to be in? Let me know your thoughts about that. Now, the tag team titles, currently there are 2 bouts, one a red one a blue one, the Raw Tag Team Championships, the SmackDown Tag Team Championships, but reportedly they could be split pretty soon. A major change looks to be on the way for the undisputed WWE Tag Team Championships. WWE's tag team titles have been unified since the Usos defeated RK Bro for the Raw Tag Team titles back on May 20, 2022. Jay and Jimmy had already been SmackDown Tag Team Champions for close to a year when they captured the Raw belts to form the undisputed WWE Tag Team Championships. WWE has since re-emphasized the brand split ish between Raw and SmackDown with the 2023 draft, but the tag team titles have remained unified so far, with the champions having the ability to appear on both main roster shows. That is reportedly set to change though, with Better Wrestling Experience reporting the undisputed tag team titles will be split, quote, very soon. How WWE are planning to split the championships is yet to be revealed. Finn Balor and Damian Priest of the Judgment Day are the reigning champions, having defeated Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn for the title in a Steel City Street fight at the Payback pay-per-view. Of course, KO and Zayn had been the champions since WrestleMania 39 when they defeated the Usos in main event of night one. How do you think you can split the tag titles, and would you like to see about changes to the designs as well? Let me know your thoughts about that. Now, given that TKO is now a thing and UFC and WWE have been merged together under one company, we could see a situation whereby we have an all-star weekend, according to WWE's president, Nick Khan. WWE and UFC, as I mentioned, are now officially under the auspices of TKO Group following the takeover of WWE by Endeavor earlier this week. Speaking on the Bill Simmons podcast, new WWE president Nick Khan gave a flavor of what the future might look like for both brands, with a suggestion of an all-star TKO weekend to provide the new company a chance to reduce costs and also drive revenue. Here's what Nick Khan had to say about it. Quote, "The conversations are just beginning now. Everybody wanted to make sure we got all the regulatory approvals in place, Department of Justice approval, SEC approval, a couple of international approvals that we needed, and obviously we got all of those. The conversations that are happening now, yes, what everyone envisions is, can you set up an all-star TKO weekend where SmackDown goes on Friday, UFC on Saturday with a pay-per-view, WWE goes with a premium live event on Sunday? Can you do that from the same city? Certainly a lot of cost efficiencies there in terms of production, but a lot of revenue efficiencies in terms of the upside as well." He continued by saying, "Certainly the fighters and WWE superstars stay separate. Could you have a Ronda Rousey or a Brock Lesnar come along who can cross from one to the other? Sure, but that's a once-in-a-decade type of thing. In terms of production, Craig Borossi and Kevin Dunn, they've had a number of conversations on those efficiencies, how it might look, how it might work. Hopefully, we'll have some news on that in a couple of months." Nick Khan then continued by explaining how WWE and UFC could work hand in hand and suggested both brands could be available to the highest bidder. He said, quote, "Ideally, what we like, especially if you look at the international expansion of WWE's premium live events and UFC's already expansion, you could see a lot of events of WWE is going at 3 p.m. Eastern from an international location, UFC is going at 8 Eastern domestically, or the opposite of that. We like that too because you get two gates, two merchandise. In theory, if you get a government subsidiary or for the international or domestic show, you have that and boom, both events are right there. By planning in advance, I don't think we'll ever trip over each other in any way." So certainly, again, Nick Khan seemingly has big plans when it comes to how UFC and WWE can work together. Is that a possibility moving forward? Dana White suggested there wouldn't be too much crossover when it comes to the fan bases, but do you push back on that? Let me know your thoughts about that. Seth Rollins is the top of the PWI 500, if you care about that kind of thing, of course. The annual PWI 500 rankings have been released today, and it's Shield domination at the top. The list, which is a combination of kayfabe accomplishments and other impressive accolades, was topped by WWE's World Heavyweight Champion Seth freaking Rollins. Rollins' former Shield stablemates Roman Reigns and Jon Moxley placed in second and third respectively, with record-breaking Intercontinental Champion Gunther and AAA's El Hijo del Vikingo rounding out the top 10. The entire top 10 is as follows: Seth Rollins at number 1, Roman Reigns at number 2, Jon Moxley at number 3, Gunther at number 4, El Hijo del Vikingo at 5, AEW World Champion MJF at 6, Kazuchika Okada from New Japan Pro Wrestling at 7, Orange Cassidy at 8, Josh Alexander at 9, and the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes at 10. What are your thoughts on that list? Is it fair? Does it matter? List, they get people talking, eh? A bit of an update on Matt Riddle. Of course, he wasn't at Raw this Monday, and that was actually reportedly due to illness, but he's had a lot of headlines recently because of the incident at JFK Airport. Now, another update has emerged on the status of Matt Riddle after the recent incident at JFK International Airport and his absence from the episode of Raw that followed. On Sunday, September 10, Riddle publicly alleged on social media that he had been assaulted by a police officer at the airport. Reports then emerged that an investigation was prompted by the allegation, but also that Riddle has been called in for being disorderly whilst deplaning at the airport. Riddle was absent from the September 11th episode of Raw and is expected to miss this weekend's live events as well. However, his absence is reportedly due to a double ear infection and bronchitis rather than because of the incident, according to Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer. In a new update, PW Insider has also now mentioned that the WWE roster was told that Riddle was out due to a medical issue. He is, however, currently set to make a return at the September 18 episode of Raw this coming Monday. So seemingly, Riddle's going to be back, and he's recovering from his illness. Now, Full Gear's had a bit of a change recently, hasn't it? Because it looks like AEW Full Gear's had another logo design change, having a rebranding just a mere 7 days ago. Now, artwork released by AEW on September 7 showed the November pay-per-view being advertised by bright and bold shades of purple and yellow, kind of similar to the LA Lakers. Of course, the show takes place at the Kia Forum in Los Angeles, with it being noted that the colors were reminiscent of the LA Lakers. However, more recently released graphic shows a different rebranding. We can show you the more recent rebranding, a bit more traditional, shall we say. The more recently released graphic shows that AEW seems to have decided to go back to the Full Gear branding that had been used yearly since 2019. Full Gear, as I mentioned, takes place in LA on Saturday, November 18. AEW's next pay-per-view event is Wrestle Dream on Sunday, October 1st in Seattle, Washington. What are your thoughts on the rebrand? Did you like the LA Lakers color, or why do you think they have changed? Is it because the LA Lakers reached out and said, hey, none of that? Finally, the TKO Board of Directors has now been confirmed. WWE's final Board of Directors member for TKO has indeed been confirmed. Following the merger, Endeavor has 6 representatives on the TKO Board of Directors, while WWE has 5. Back in August, Endeavor confirmed its 6 representatives, while WWE had confirmed only 4, so there was still 1 spot left. Endeavor's 6 representatives are Ari Emanuel, Egon P. Durbin, Jonathan A. Kraft, Sonia E. Medina, Mark Shapiro, and Carrie Wheeler. WWE's initially confirmed 4 representatives were Vincent K. McMahon, Nick Khan, Stephen R. Coonan, and Nancy R. Tellem. Now the merger has officially gone through, though. The 5th Board of Director member from WWE has been confirmed as well. That spot has gone to Peter C. Bino. Bino is a Chicago attorney and businessman who in 1989 purchased a controlling share in the Denver Nuggets with Bertram Tree, making them the first black owners of a major sports team. So that's the latest when it comes to TKO. But there you go, guys. This latest pro wrestling news for you. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe bottom right hand corner. As always, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll speak for you again very, very soon.
Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.